Last week, Muslims all around the world were celebrating their holiday, which is Eid al-Adha. Before I say anything, I just want to say Happy Eid or Eid Mubarak to all Muslims out there. And even though I'm someone who knows that God does not exist, I really enjoy and like seeing such occasions. Why? Because it helps people gathering for the first time in a while. Also, the events or the sacrifices that are happening, such as giving it away to the poor or anyone who's in need. And I hope such things will keep happening, not mainly to obey God, but also, to give whoever in need. That is actually a very lovely thing to say and a very lovely thing to celebrate. What I want to talk about today is the story behind this occasion. It's actually something that all Abrahamic religions believe. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And I think you already know it. It's the story when Abraham wanted to sacrifice his son to show how obedient he is to God. This is the story I grew up knowing. Abraham loved his son so much, so he one day had a dream, saw himself commanded by God to kill his son or sacrifice him, because either he was so obsessed with him or he just wanted to make this sacrifice to show how obedient he is to God. When I just thought about it recently, and I was like, bro, that's just so savage. So probably there's something wrong. Maybe I'm missing something, because I don't know much about religion, so probably I'm missing something. I looked it up. I wanted to say what people are saying about this story, because that is just so savage. I wanted to know more. And the first thing I saw on YouTube was a short video from someone. I think his name is Jordan Peterson. He was in Joe Rogan podcast, and he was talking about how you always need to sacrifice something in order to gain something else. He mentioned the story of Abraham, and he said Abraham had to sacrifice his son to gain, I think, something like more trust with God, or to show how obedient he is. And the problem is how sure he was, how sure and how confident he was saying that this was the right thing. He had to sacrifice his son, have more trust with God. Otherwise, if he didn't sacrifice his son, there would be no trust between him and God. I also saw another video from someone who was Muslim. First one was Christian. So this person was saying, he was also talking about this thing over and over again, obedience. When Abraham saw himself in a dream, either commanded or just seeing himself sacrificing his own son, he asked his son, I think I gotta do this, son. Then his son said, Father, you can just do whatever you want. You'll find me fully accepting it, and I will be fully patient with you. I'm not really sure if I'm the only one who's seeing it, but I can't believe how people are just accepting such a savage thing. Isn't it so savage? It really reminds me of a quote I saw the other day. If you repeat something outrageous long enough, it will become normal to people. And here I'm not saying he shouldn't obey God. It's completely out of the equation. How can I sacrifice my own son? I also remember someone who's, a quote from someone so religious. He was saying, our God is so powerful, he doesn't need, or he's not thriving because we are worshiping him, right? He can thrive without being obedient to him. Isn't this otherwise? I know God saved the situation in the last moment, but what if he didn't? Just the idea itself of be willing to sacrifice your own son is completely wrong. Even if God himself came down from the sky and told me to do such thing, he stood in front of me and asked me to do such thing, I won't. And it's simply because I can't. It's not my life. So unfair. If I'm someone young or old, what's my fault? Like, if I'm, let's say he was 12, but I don't know whatever the age was, but let's say he was 12. I think it was still, his son was still pretty young at this, in this part of the story. And you finding your father wanting to kill you, how would you feel? There are a lot of different ways to show how obedient you can be to God, but the willingness to sacrifice your own son is wrong. To cultivate this idea in someone, it's wrong. How can I sacrifice something I don't have? I can sacrifice if I love someone so much, if I really love someone so much, I don't mind to sacrifice my own life. I don't mind to sacrifice my own life for my mom. Not her to live, no, just her to be happy. But I cannot sacrifice my son's life for my mom. No matter how much I love her, no matter how much I want to give her the world, I can't, because his life is not mine. In fact, if someone's owns someone, it would be the son who owns the father. For he who brought him to this world. People do not look for the truth. People try to prove what they already believe in to be the truth. If you're still watching, my man, up to this point, I really hope, I'm so interested in knowing what's your opinion. Just please tell me, what do you think about this story down in the comment section? Or just tell, because maybe I'm wrong. Because I haven't seen anybody talking about this topic. Really, like, it became so normal. And if you are also a religious person, please just try. Maybe, bro, really, maybe I'm wrong. Just try to convince me. Right? Maybe I'm wrong, man.